Here we go. Come on. Smash those likes, baby. We got a lot to talk about. Woo! Come on. Feel it, baby. Shake it. Shake it and move it. Let's go. Come on. Tap those likes. Let's get it. Guys, I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading these blockchains every single day. And we're back on Monday, on October 13. And let me tell you, what a ride it was this weekend. I'm telling you, it's been a roller coaster, man. We were pumping, and then we were dumping, and then we were pumping again. And now we've just kind of been settling out here. So, guys, the question on everybody's mind right now is this bull market over? Is this rally over? Is it, see you later, alligator? I'll see you next year, next rally, 2027. Here we go. Was 126 the top? We're going to answer all these questions and a lot more, guys. So it's been overall a very drastic weekend. I'm tired, boss. Dude, I'm tired too, bro. I am tired too. I know I haven't been going live. I haven't been doing anything. I just been updating the group, and I just been trying to figure out and analyzing the data, reading the real simple. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Bitcoin came up to that 126, right? We got the whole tariff situation occurring. Everything started, dumping and shaking and grooving, and everybody was freaking out. And the reality is, Bitcoin came all the way down to 102, right? 102, guys. We haven't even touched this yearly VWAP, since May of 2025 when we crossed over it. We've been bullish this whole time. Now, we hit it, we swept it, right? We didn't sweep these local lows here of 98,000, but we got pretty close. We came down to 102. We have structurally for Bitcoin gone all the way back up to the previous previous quarter range, and got it above 112,000. We're currently at 114, basically 115 right now. We have been able to get and hold this range. This is showing strength for Bitcoin right now. Does this mean that Bitcoin's going to skyrocket to an all-time high tomorrow or later this month? Probably not. I think we're just going to see a lot more of this sideways consolidation here for the foreseeable future, for at least the next 2 weeks. For at least the rest of October, I think we're just going to see some chop between 120, maybe as high as 121, then back down to 117, 114, and continue chopping sideways. Now, things to be looking out for, right? Things to be looking out for is if we do get this sideways consolidation, right? This sideways chop between 121 and 114 for the next 2 weeks or so, we will see potentially altcoins rally, right? Because if Bitcoin's price starts chopping sideways and Bitcoin's dominance starts dropping, which is what it's been doing so far, it's right now it's at 59.16, as you guys can see here on the daily. It's made a nice big high on the yearly VWAP when we did that massive crash throughout the weekend, all the way up at 63%. Since then, it's been pulling back. I do believe it's going to target this 56%, maybe even lower, and that is going to allow altcoins to potentially rally. But we need to hold the structure of above 112 for Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Bitcoin stays above 112, we're good, and Bitcoin dominance starts dropping, altcoins should have a little bit more rally to go. Now, more on the altcoins in a little bit. Let's continue talking here about Bitcoin a little bit longer, and then I'm going to jump into the chat and start answering some people's questions. So in the meantime, guys, make sure you guys are tapping those likes. If you're on TikTok, tap those likes, fill up that like meter. If you're on YouTube or anywhere else, make sure you are smashing those likes and hitting that subscribe as well. Now, if Bitcoin starts to lose that 112 and starts to lose this market structure, right, up here of this range, our next target to the downside is going to be this yearly average, right? This yearly VWAP. Sorry, I keep saying an average. This yearly yearly VWAP. Geez, I can't speak today. Around the 104.5. If this area is lost, at that point in time, we would be entering this larger range, right? this larger range has an untapped target of $97,854. So if we re-enter this range here and we cannot stay above the yearly VWAP around 104, we are going to be heading towards 97,800. Now, is that the end? No, there is a good chance that we might come here to this 97, right? Sweep this low right here of 98 and potentially make a move back up. But realistically, right, as we start losing the yearly VWAP, we need to start getting a little bit more bearish, as we've seen here in the past when Bitcoin lost the yearly VWAP throughout the quarter one at the end of February. We started losing it, retesting it, losing it, and we were heading down for the next 2.5 months until we were able to reclaim it at the end of April. So if we start to see that happening here, we have to assume that we are going to be bearish for Bitcoin. Meanwhile, we are below the yearly VWAP, which is at 104 right now. Going for that 97,000. Below 97,000, we do have two more untapped targets between $88,000 and $84,000, right? That is also losing the structure for the first 6 months of the year, right? For the first 6 months of the year, the first 6 month range, losing 93,000, we lose that, and 88 to 84 is definitely on deck, right? We do have some more targets lower than that. We have another target all the way down to 66,000, but let's not get worried and wrapped up about 66,000 and so forth. Plenty of targets to the downside. Sorry, guys. Plenty of targets to the downside, but nonetheless, we are looking for, if Bitcoin loses 112, we're looking for 97,000, right? Meanwhile, we stay above this key area here of 113 to 112 area, right? We stay above that. We could continue to consolidate in range between 117 to 120 and 114 area, right? Just ranging this way allows ETH and other altcoins to rally. Now, before we get over to ETH, I already have Tau pulled up, so I'm just going to cover it. BitTensor Tau is one of the more bullish looking altcoins right now. On the daily, we've had a very significant sweep, right? We swept this low that we made back in April around the 160, 179. We swept that area. We came back on that drop, right? On the big drop on Friday, we swept and monthly, 6 month and quarterly range, right? Around this $300 support. We came all the way up. We're currently up at 418. We came up as high as 428, hitting the heart line of this uptrend that we've been in, reclaiming the uptrend, showing a lot of strength here for BitTensor Tau. Now, if we get that sideways consolidation that I mentioned about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin dominance slowly dropping, I do expect BitTensor Tau to 17 plus at that point in time. And BitTensor Tau is one of the few altcoins that is showing a ton of strength right now. A ton of strength. Now, going back on over to Ethereum, don't get me wrong, is also showing some good strength here. So ETH right now, we came down and we actually didn't even drop that much for Ethereum. We dropped all the way down to 33, 32, bounced and instantly reclaimed our previous quarter range. We bounced off this 382 fib as well of 3,500. Able to get back in structurally. Nothing has changed. Everything is exactly the same for ETH. We're currently at $4,200. $4,200 is not too far from the previous all-time high of 49, right? So once again, if we get this sideways consolidation for Bitcoin to range between 112 to 121, right? Ranging around this area up and down for the next 2 weeks. Bitcoin dominance continuing to slide down here slowly but surely. As we see that, I do believe Ethereum could have the chance of running past its previous all-time high towards the target of 5,200 to potentially 5,600 here in the next couple of weeks. You know, when I say a couple of weeks, I'm talking about the ending of October, potentially the first 2 weeks of November. That's where I'm expecting this next big move to happen for Ethereum. Now, am I instantly going long on ETH right now? No, I'm not, right? If you were able to catch that big drop and you caught an entry in the mid 3,000 area, right? Maybe low 4,000, maybe. But right now at 4,200, we're kind of in the middle of this range. I wouldn't feel okay jumping into a long right now for ETH. But like I said, I am holding ETH on spot, right? Everything is a trade with leverage. So I do plan on taking some more profits at 52 and 5600. I did take some profits at 4100 after we had that recovery from this drop, and we pumped up to 41 and some change, almost 42 yesterday. I did take some profits there for ETH just to secure some profits just in case we don't get this next big leg up, right? Like I'm expecting, and see where we're going next. Let's jump into the chat here real quick. Doc the GOAT, you're green and gray on the stream, brother. Man, that sucks. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully that gets fixed. Good on this stream. Hey, welcome on your channel because I'm only one of your channels. Good to see you, Captain. Are you Antoli? No, I'm not Antoli. I wish I was Antoli. Okay, so let's continue on here. Let's let's read some more chat. What about HBAR and Litecoin? Because apparently the ETFs are going to be announced around the 8th of November. Yeah, so let's go take a look at Litecoin. All right, Litecoin is one that I like a lot, but my biggest concern here with that ETF announcement on November 8th, I don't think we have too much room to continue running for altcoins, you know, later into this year. The fact that they're going to be potentially announcing it on the 8th of November, I feel like that's going to be more of a top signal than anything for Litecoin at that point in time. So you look like Antoli. I wish I was jacked like Antoli. So right now, Litecoin did have a major drop all the way down to $52, has not reclaimed its previous quarter range, has not reclaimed its yearly range, its yearly average, sorry, of $100. Is currently fighting that $100 resistance. If we can get back above it, you know, we did run all the way up to 135. I was targeting 146 plus for Litecoin. Unfortunately, this rally got cut a little short with that whole liquidation event. But Bitcoin's pumping back up to 115.3 right now as we speak. So that being said, if Bitcoin continues to do this sideways chop and slowly move to the upside, right? Not that I'm expecting like Bitcoin to make a new all-time high, but just this sideways consolidation with a little move to the upside, Bitcoin dominance slipping, altcoins can rally. So if Litecoin, gets that boost from the ETF or just the, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, right? Targets still remain, between 137 to 146 for Litecoin. Right? Hopefully we can go higher than that, but I don't know. Mind Barrage, what's going on? Let's see here. Let's go take a look at HBAR as well. Guys, if you're not in the crypto citadel and you're not game planning for what is happening next, let me tell you, you need to start game planning because nothing tells you more than what happened on Friday that you need a game plan, right? When nobody had a game plan, I mean, it's hard to realize, it's hard to see what comes when a major tweet storm like that happens on Friday and the markets are closed and everything's dumping. So it's hard to see that coming in a liquidation event where Binance and other exchanges were literally locked out and there was not allowing any buy orders and all the oracles were misfiring and all the prices were incorrect, right? HBAR came all the way down to 7 cents, 7.5 cents. A lot of HBAR, sorry, not Litecoin. HBAR is getting back above its anchored VWAP at 19 cents. Targets to the upside still remain the same, between 31 to 33. Best case 39, which is the December high from 2024. We do have a local target here of the quarterly MPLC at 24, almost 25 cents. That is something to be of interest on the way up. So that is going to be a nice little target on the way up from where we are right now. But overall, you look at the structure here, nothing really has changed. The whole wipeout has been pretty much wiped out itself. And it was one of the bullish ones that has been recovering higher. Going on next over here, let's go take a look at Solana. Solana has been having a nice recovery as well. As of right now at 206, starting to climb back above into its uptrend here, reclaiming this uptrend. If we can close the daily up here and continue moving to the upside, targets still remain between 251 to 295. So Solana showing strong recovery here. Also had a strong recovery, as in it didn't drop as significantly as other altcoins did. It only dropped to about 147, quickly reclaimed the quarterly range and the monthly range, and now we're reclaiming the uptrend here. So showing some good strength here for Solana. XRP, people want to know about the XRP. I want to know when you guys are going to sign up for the Crypto Citadel. And if you're not already in there, you got chance right now to get 25% off with the code one time. Number one time. You get one time, one chance, one opportunity to jump into the Crypto Citadel, get 25% off your first month. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of that. Make sure you guys are game planning on what your next big move in this market is going to be. I know a lot of people are getting very bearish, and I can see why. There is definitely justification to be getting bearish. We're definitely keeping a very close eye on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin had a very bullish weekly close. So if we jump back over to Bitcoin real quick, and then we'll cover XRP again. Looking at the weekly here, right, we were in danger. Right, I was warning the Crypto Citadel that if we could not close back above this quarterly range here, right, around the 112, we were going to be in big trouble. If we would have closed below it, we were in big trouble. Not only because we were losing this range, but because if you look at this candle here, right, you look at this weekly candle, Bitcoin's weekly candle swept the highs, right? We swept the highs, which was already a reversal signal. And then if we would have closed below 112, we would have had a bearish engulfing candle of this weekly candle and this previous weekly candle, which would have been very, very telling of weakness and bearish momentum coming. So that is something to be very aware of when it comes to Bitcoin, that we didn't get that. We did get the reversal. We did get a pullback, but we closed above the quarterly range, and we did not have a bearish engulfing candle, which is giving us some strength here right now. Now back to XRP. XRP's downtrend continues to be intact. XRP dropped all the way down to almost 115, wiping out the grand majority of all of its targets below $2. Below $2. We still have some more targets between 112 to 37 cents. Not saying that we're going to see those anytime soon, but maybe potentially in a big bear market, we might at least approach that area again, fill in this wick to the downside, right? As there is very low volume here. I've told you guys this multiple times that if we drop below this green zone, dropping below $2, we do not have a lot of volume. We can drop very quickly. Now, pushing up, we have a gold pocket at 281. We have the quarterly average at 288. If we can flip this area and start breaking through it, right, we're going to have to retest this resistance. We've been making lower highs here. We got a lower high in September at 316. We had a lower high in October at 304. If we don't break this 304 on the way up and start closing dailies above 304, we're going to continue this downtrend, continue making lower highs, meaning we're going to continue slowly dropping back down. Obviously, you knew that we had targets down between 242 to 215. They got wiped out during our big liquidation event. But if we come up to this 280 to 281 to 288, even this $3, and start facing resistance, and we start nosediving, start closing below it, I will be looking for a short on XRP to go to the downside, because we are continuing this downtrend of lower highs for XRP. Smash those likes, guys. Join the Crypto Citadel if you haven't already. You guys are missing out here on your game plans. If you think that what you're getting here on this live stream is the game plan, you don't know what you're getting in the Crypto Citadel. So much more value in the Crypto Citadel every single day. Exclusive live streams, exclusive game plans, trade signals for swing trades and daily trades. Just massive, massive amounts of opportunity overall. Where is my... Oh, wrong chart. Wrong chart here. All right, so... Ondo in a bit of a different pickle, right? Not showing as much strength as BitTensor Tau is. Had a strong drop all the way down to its September NPOC of 59 cents. That was a target. I'm telling you, targets have been getting smashed, dude. It's like they were precisely sniping those targets. So right now we want Ondo to reclaim 87 cents. Reclaiming 87 cents gets us back into our quarterly range. Getting back into the quarterly range gives us hope of a potential move to the upside, right? You guys know I've been targeting between 122 to 132. Above that, 151 to 161 for Ondo. But that's not going to happen unless Ondo can start reclaiming the 88 to 87 cent area, start holding this quarterly range once again. And obviously, Bitcoin dominance needs to drop. Ethereum needs to rally for all-time highs, and Bitcoin needs to continue holding this range that it's in right now. So a lot of things need to happen for Ondo to start making a big move back to the upside. Right now, we are below its previous quarter range, which is not good. We are making lower highs. So we did sweep the low as well. Sorry, the low of June, which is good. That is a good thing. So hopefully we can continue rallying on up and start reclaiming some of those levels to show some strength. Bitcoin might reach 80 to 90K this month, I guess. I don't think so. Unless Bitcoin starts dropping below 112, I wouldn't even be entertaining 80 to 90, especially not this month. We got 2 more weeks left in this month. We've just had a major liquidation event, right? Sweeping some big lows, picking up some big liquidity gaps that were all the way down here. I don't think we're dropping to 80 to 90 anytime soon. Are we going to go there eventually? Yes. Yes, we were running for a new all-time high right now or anytime soon. Maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, I see us potentially running back towards this 121 weekly MPOC, hitting that, and then maybe making a lower high, right? I just don't know. I don't know if we're going to make another all-time high here for Bitcoin. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we do. That'd be fantastic. But I'm not worried about 80 to 90 until we lose 112. Once we start losing 112, then, yeah, 90 to 80 is definitely on deck. Let's go take a look at SUI. Guys, if you're not in the Crypto Citadel, definitely do so. Targets are, obviously, we've been game planning. We had a 2-hour session this morning in the Crypto Citadel, game planning, looking at all the stuff in deep, deep detail. So make sure you're joining the Crypto Citadel if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening in the markets, guys. Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm reading the chat. Sir, can you please check for Aster? I'll take a look at Aster in a second. Let me make sure I'm not missing any other chats here. Do you think XRP will recover? Certainly not looking good for XRP right now. Game plan equals don't leverage trade or you're a in crypto. Leverage trading, there's nothing wrong with leverage trading, guys. People are so afraid of leverage trading. The problem is that people like to use extremely high leverage. Now, was I liquidated on some of my swing trades? Yes, I was. I was using 3 to 5x leverage on my swing trades, right? And obviously, the market crashed. Altcoins crashed 80 to 90%, guys. 80 to 90%. Nothing could have survived that, right? Using leverage, which is okay. But that I was leverage trading with my positions were at $500. So what I lost was around, in grand total between 3 different trades, was around $2,000 on leverage trades, right? That were liquidated at that point in time from those swing trades. So it's honestly, and that's a small percent of portfolio for me, right? That's a small percent of my trading portfolio overall. The problem is people get afraid of leverage, or people mess up with leverage because they start using 30, 40, 50x leverage, right? And that is going to get you wiped out even without an 80% drop. The only reason why I lost is because we had an 80% crash on a major liquidation event. If not, none of my positions would have ever been liquidated, and they would have all gone into the profit, and they were in the profit before the liquidation happened. So there's nothing wrong with leverage. You just got to manage it, right? You just got to manage risk. That's what trading is all about, managing risk, right? When you buy spot, yes, it is true. You do not have the risk of being liquidated, meaning losing your money, going to zero. But your altcoin can go to zero. Your altcoin can go into the negative, right? There's people like me. There's other people around that have been ICP holders forever. And guess where ICP's at? ICP is down in the dumps, bro. ICP, even though my position is never going to hit zero, I'm always going to have some value on there. Am I realistically ever going to make a large profit? No, it's what you would call dead money. It's just dead money sitting in a position, not making you any money. So yeah, you're not liquidated, but if you're buying spot and dollar cost averaging at terrible times, at local highs, and bad assets like ICP and a few others, you're not going to make your money back. You're not going to make your money back. most coins will go to zero once all regulations are passed. 589 XRP. Meanwhile, I don't agree with your name. I don't believe XRP is ever going to go to 589. I do agree with that statement. I do believe that the grand majority of altcoins will go to zero. There will be an altcoin crypto bubble burst like there was in. Let's go. Thank you for hitting that subscribe, man. Thank you for hitting that subscribe. There will be a moment just like there was in the .com bubble era where the grand majority of internet companies in the late 90s crashed and went to zero. That will happen again in the crypto market, right? We will see a moment where right? It's not 2021 anymore where all altcoins pump. That doesn't happen anymore, right? We're not going to see every single altcoin pumping and making new all-time highs. That will not be a reality. That is just fantasy at this point in time. And there will be a moment where if your altcoin is not in an ETF, your altcoin is not gonna do well. Your altcoin is not gonna do well at all. It's not gonna be a long-term hold. It's not gonna have that institutional demand, and it's really not gonna go anywhere. And you're gonna be holding extremely, extremely high-risk assets that are probably gonna go to zero. So, yes, I do agree with that. I do agree that there's very few assets that are long-term holds. Ethereum's a long-term hold for me. Bitcoin is definitely the long-term hold, right? Bitcoin only had a small 10% drop, and altcoins dropped 80-90%, right? Keep that in mind, 80-90%. We saw something very similar back in Q1 of 2025 when Bitcoin dropped 30%, right? From 109 to 76. Altcoins, once again, dropped 90+%. So altcoin holders are a lot higher risk. So even if you're not using leverage, your altcoins could definitely get crushed and still never make it back to your break even or a new local high that is going to ever make you any profit. And then your positions are just dead money sitting there. So make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel if you want to catch all the uptrend, not the uptrends, but all the updates on what is happening in the market. Do you think we really in bull run? Sub-zero, we've been in a bull run for 3 years. The bull run is coming to an end. If it did not already top out, which it could have, right? Bitcoin at 126 could be the total top for a while. We have been in a bull run for 3 years. For the last 3 years, guys, if we go look at Bitcoin, here, looking at the weekly right now, right? Look at this, guys. Bitcoin has been nothing but up for the last 3 years. Let me close this out for you guys so you guys can see this. 2022, November of 2022 was the bottom. Fast forward to 2023, right? We start moving up from 16,000 to 20,000, and we close out the year of 2023 up around 42,000. We started less than 20 in 2023, closed out the year around 44. 2023 ends, 2024 starts. We start around 40 grand, and by the end of 2024, we are at $104,000. Major rally. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Now, 2025 happens. We dump down to 76. We rally all the way up to 127, 126. We made another high. We have been in a rally for the last 3 years. We have been in a bull run for the last 3 years. Thoughts on Crow? Let's go take a look at Kronos. Crypto.com. Where are you? There we go. Oh, man, I'm tired. So, Kronos wiped out. Obviously, came all the way down to its lows of 7 cents. Back up at 17 cents. Targets to the upside still remain the same. Actually, there's not a lot of targets, to be honest. We have a target at 39 and 60. At this point in time, I don't expect us or see us coming up to those targets. Let me get a gold pocket here from this high to this low. Here you guys go. Nice little target to the upside is between 19 cents, gold pocket all the way up at 27 cents for Chronos, crypto.com. 27 cents gold pocket retracement from the highs that we had earlier this year at 38 cents when Trump announced that they were building some treasury with Chronos and they were buying a ton. Maybe we get some good headlines and it pumps through again. If it does, between 39 to 60 cents is that most I see Crow pumping. Is Algo worth holding? There's no... The ISO 200 narrative is gone, right? The grand majority of narratives in crypto are gone. I know that the ISO 200s were a very strong narrative back in 2021. Everybody thought it was going to take over the SWIFT system. The SWIFT system themselves have been announcing that they're working on their own blockchains. They're working heavily with Chainlink, and they're going to be incorporating a few other ones out there. But the ISO 200 narrative is not strong enough. It's nothing special. Never was. So Algorand, is it doing anything special? No. If it gets an ETF, it might change that. But meanwhile, it doesn't have an ETF. Algorand's not a long-term hold. Algorand is a swing trade at best, right? A swing trade at best. So if we go take a look at Algorand, Algorand came down, hit all of our targets to the downside, hit all the way down to 10 cents. Right now we're bouncing back up. We're at 21. We need to get back towards 25 cents. Between 25 to 31 cents are the targets to the upside for Algorand right now. Above 31 cents, we have the original targets before this major liquidation between 39 to 45 cents for Algorand. That's realistically the most you're going to get out of Algorand, right? You're not going to get no major anything. Bro, any update about Binance? You're talking about like Binance, the exchange? I don't know. Do you see a catalyst with uptrend in the altcoins soon with the potential of a rate cut this month? So rate cuts this month, are they a bullish event? Yeah, we got the rate cut last month and we didn't have an instantaneous bullish momentum off of it, right? We just didn't, and don't expect that to happen. So yes, and if you weren't here, I'm going to explain it again, right? Right now, what I am hoping that we get for our altcoins is this. Bitcoin is within its Q3 range. We are holding above 112. Meanwhile, Bitcoin holds above 112 and ranges sideways between 112 to maybe as high as 121. We range sideways here, chopping between 121, back to 114, back to 119, right? Just chopping sideways for the next 3 to 4 weeks. If we get that sideways chop for the next 3 or 4 weeks for Bitcoin, at some point in that point in time, right, whenever that happens, Bitcoin dominance should drop. And if Bitcoin dominance drops down to that 57 or lower percentile, then I expect altcoins to rally. That is the real catalyst event that I expect for altcoins to rally. Can the rate cut fuel that rally and pushes up a little bit higher? People start getting overly bullish, thinking that we're going to go for a new all-time high because we get a rate cut and because, you know, altcoins are pumping. That might happen, but it's going to end up being a bull trap. Let me tell you, I will be looking for shorts on Bitcoin once we start approaching that 121 and higher area. I will be looking for shorts. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping that Bitcoin blasts off to 180. I hope that happens. But realistically, I will be looking for a short on Bitcoin around the 121. But hopefully between now and then, altcoins pump on that sideways chop. Is XRP rising? Not really. It's sitting at 261. It needs to break $3. If it doesn't break $3, it's going to continue to make a lower high, and the downtrend will continue for XRP. SNX, I have no idea what that is, so can't talk about it. Don't know anything about it. How do you know when to sell? When you're in profit, guys. When you guys are in profit, pay yourself. If you're not in profit, well, that sucks. But if you are in profit, take profits, right? The only way you go broke is by not taking profits. And if anything was a wake-up call, this major liquidation event over the weekend, right, shows you how fast things can melt, shows you how fast your profits can go away. So if you're back in the profit right now, start game planning on taking profits. Start dollar cost averaging your way out. I took profits on Ethereum. I took profits on Ethereum. Ethereum recovered, got back up to 4,100, almost 4,200. I took some profits. Small amount, but I took some profits. Why? Do I think it's going to go higher? Yes. But am I going to wait for that all-time high? No. I'm going to take some profits now, let it keep going. If it goes to that 52, 5,600 that we've been talking about for Ethereum, I'll take some more profits at that point in time. And if we don't get it and we dump, I already took some profits. All my debts are paid. I'm good to go, right? Appreciate everybody here. What about the ETFs, ETH and Solana staking been turned on? Yeah, that's fantastic. But we know that if Bitcoin dumps, altcoins are going to dump as well. So unless Bitcoin continues to chop sideways here and hold above 112, doesn't matter what the ETFs are coming out, that's not going to make the altcoins pump. On Rivals, what's going on, brother? Missed you in the Crypto Citadel. Hey, what's going on? Any takes on the four meme or World Liberty? We'll take a look at World Liberty here in a second. Henko says Sui. We already covered Sui, but I'll circle back to Sui real quick. Sui, where we at? Sui. So Sui did fall out of its uptrend, right? Has not shown as much strength, but it did wipe out every single target to the downside completely. It almost swept the lows from August 2024, right down at 45 cents. It came down as low as 56 cents, wiping out all my targets to the downside. Now, if Sui can reclaim the $3.18 area, get above this yearly average, we do have a chance of running to that 446, 481 area. If we don't, if we get rejected at 3.8 here, Sui could be getting a little cooked, but it's all going to be contextual, right? It's not going to be based off Sui alone, because if ETH starts to rally and make a new all-time high, right, with Bitcoin dominance dropping below 57% or towards that 57% area, we're going to have alts rallying. So it's going to be a contextual play here. It's not going to be a do or die just by a coin bots to snipe entering and exit. Yeah, and I'm sure you lose a lot of money. Don't believe any of those people talking about meme coin bots, guys. That's all fugazi. They just want you to use their bots so that they can make money off the fees. They have massive fees. Are you showing leverage trading on altcoins? Jesco, what's going on? So I show mostly all my trading is on Bitcoin. We do small leverage swing trades on alts, right? Small leverage, 3, 5x max, positions between $300 to $500 max, right? On leverage for altcoins. But yes, I have a 1-hour course trading course that helps you understand my technical analysis, you know, how to jump into some trades. You get access to my live trading sessions every morning, Monday through Thursday, which are like 2 hours long. You get my daily trade signals if you get into any day trades. You get signals for swing trades and, you know, my private indicators as well. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. This guy's going to get banned because this guy's just spamming. See you later. Boom. You're gone. Appreciate all of you guys smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. Make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel. You have the one-time code right now. One time. Number 1 time to get 25% off the first month. 25% off your first month, guys, to join the Crypto Citadel right now. If you're looking for a game plan, if you want to understand where this market is going, if you want to not be freaking out when massive liquidations happen or when massive pumps happen, if you continue chasing buying high and selling low, you're never going to make money, right? That's just the way it is. You're always going to be in the negative. So the only way to avoid that is to by analyzing data, reading charts, and actually starting to get a better picture of where the market could be going. Where's the support? Where's the resistance? When's it a good time to get in? When is a good time to get out? If you're not doing that, if you're just blindly reacting to what you see online, to content creators calling for doom and gloom or calling for massive pumps, you're always going to get wrecked. Tita, what's going on? Can you check on Pudgy Penguin? Let's go take a look at Pudgy. Good old Pudgy Penguins. Where's my Pudgy? Here we go. So Pudgy came and hit all of his targets to the downside except for one, half a penny, but pretty much wiped out all of its targets to the downside, holding above this gold pocket here, getting above this weekly average of 2.5 cents. If we can start getting above 0.027, right? We do have we don't really have any targets to the upside. We have been making lower highs here, lower highs. So if we can get back above basically this 3-cent area and start holding above 0.33, we could be breaking this downward structure of lower highs, and our targets to the upside remain between 0.042 to 0.052 to the upside before running for, you know, some crazy highs for Pudgy Penguins. So if you were able to get in here at any of these lows, that was fantastic. But we are making lower lows, lower highs. Sorry, damn it. We are making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So definitely something to be aware of. Obviously, you know that this is a meme coin, contains a whole lot more high risk. This is not a long-term hold, right? Not a long-term hold. This is a trading asset. You get in, you get out, but you do not hold this thing long-term. Let's see over here. Appreciate all of you guys jumping in here and hanging out with me. If you haven't already, join the Crypto Citadel, guys, where we do the most of our game planning every single day. So if you're not in there, this is your last chance to get 25% off your first month using the code ONETIME. Guys, I am Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, and I'll see you guys in the Crypto Citadel. See ya.